Bye-bye, iPhone. See you next time. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL, and this is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Yeehaw! How y'all doing today? Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I got me here this Note 9. Picked it up on Friday because I wanted to pre-order. Well, it's a long story. Yes, I got it. I've never looked forward to a phone release like I did for the Note 9 unless it was for an iPhone. I've been mostly an iPhone user since the dawn of the smartphone age, but that hasn't stopped me from using the Android phone here and there, many of them, including pretty much all of the Notes except for the Note 5. Didn't use that. What you got here is my pre-review of the Note 9. If you want to see the full review, then you got to subscribe to the channel so that you can come back and bell notify yourself so you know when that review has come out. I've been using the iPhone 7 Plus for the past few months, but for the most part of the year, I've been bouncing back and forth like this between the iPhone 10 and the Note 8. The Note obviously is the more powerful, more productive phone, but there was enough that bothered me about the Note 8 that kept me going back to the iPhone, just the simple old iPhone. iPhones are all about simplicity. I mean, I'm not slagging on it for that. I like iPhones for that reason, but they are not productivity powerhouses. They fall into a category that I've come to call lifestyle phones. They do just about everything that you want them to do, so you're not missing anything. But if you're one of those people that needs to get down and dirty with your phone and get some work done, the iPhone might feel a little bit neutered. That's right, neutered. I've longed for a Note that would make me turn my back on the iPhone once it comes out, right after the Note always comes out. And with the Note 9, it's quite possible that Samsung might actually have delivered. So let's talk about some good stuff that I've found in the first few days of using the Note 9. First, it's always on display. I always forget how much I like the always on display until I come back to a phone that has it. I really enjoy the always on display, and it's really nice to be back on a phone that has it, just so I can see what time it is without touching my phone. I'm a man of simple pleasures. What do you want from me? I also want to talk about the Fingerprint Reader because that was one of the things that kept me away from the Note 8 when the Note 8 was out there and being a thing. The Fingerprint Reader, I just could never get to work. I've had two Note 8s. I could never get the Fingerprint Reader to work correctly no matter what I did. No matter what I did. And I'm happy to say that boom, 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 boom. This thing works. See, look. Boom. It just works. So, thank you, Samsung, for putting the Fingerprint Reader somewhere that is more natural to touch it. The next thing that I want to talk about is the screen. After being on the iPhone 7 for a couple of months, it really was a big shock to the system to come back to something like the Super AMOLED screens that Samsung puts on these phones. I mean, just gorgeous, baby. Gorgeous. And of course, we've got the S Pen. I have always loved the S Pen. I use it at least 3 or 4 times a day. If I'm at work, I use it more than that. The new remote control features are cool and will enhance the overall experience so you can take photos and you can do all kinds of stuff. It adds so much functionality to the phone, whether it's taking notes, using the Smart Select, using the screen write features, plus annotating photos and documents and all this other stuff. If you buy a Note and you don't use the S Pen, then why did you buy a Note? It's absolutely a different phone when you use the S Pen, and when you don't use the S Pen. Anyway, battery life. So one thing that's always been a problem for me on Android phones is battery. The battery always dies too soon. I can't trust it to get me through the day, but the Note 9 actually comes with a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means it's a gigantic honking battery. I've only gone through one full charge in the time that I've had the phone, and battery life wasn't great yesterday. I ended the day at about 30%, which was fine, but I expected for a little bit more. Every time you use a phone for the first time, you got to go through that 1 or 2 battery cycles where it takes some time for it to get up to speed. In fact, today I've been using it, and at almost 5 p.m. when I was writing this script, I was sitting there at about 75% battery. And that's pretty impressive because I've still been using the phone quite a bit since I woke up this morning at 9 a.m. The last thing, and I got to talk about it. The last thing I got to talk, headphone jack. It's still incredibly important to me that the headphone jack is on this phone. There are so few phones that have the headphone jack, and I like this headphone jack. I'm going to have to do an audio test and all that kind of stuff so that I can really know what we're looking at when it comes to the headphone jack and the other audio features. If you want to see me do an audio features review, please like down there and I will get the message that you would like me to do that. With a phone this powerful and feature-rich, it's almost impossible to have gone through all of the full scope of everything that the phone can do in 3 days. I mean, I really feel like I need the rest of the week to get this thing working and tweaked up so I can really have it set up the way that I want to use it. That's something I don't always, but I like the Note 9 enough right now that I want to give it that extra effort and really make it mine. Of course, there's always a few things that aren't quite dialed in with any phone. There's got to be something. And with this phone, Bixby. I was impressed with Samsung's vision for Bixby at the Unpacked event where they announced the Note 9. It was really something else, the prospects that they have for what Bixby might be able to do. But sadly, even after an update, right when I got the phone, my few attempts at using Bixby have been comically awful. No matter how I asked it to do it, it could not call my wife. It couldn't understand the words that I was saying and just kept saying that it couldn't find a contact with that name, and it wasn't the right name, so of course it couldn't find a contact. Clearly, Bixby is not ready to be what Samsung wants it to be, and at this point, I'd rather just they disable it entirely until they get it going the way they want. For the record, Google Assistant recognized what I was saying right away and put the call through, and I was talking to my wife without having to gouge my eyes out in frustration. What else don't I like? So far, Bixby is the only thing that is giving me fits. Everything else is just great. I still have a few things to test. I haven't got a chance to test out the camera very much. I haven't been able to play too many games to really test that out. I also haven't gone through a full work week with this phone yet, and the full work week treatment is really what's going to tell me a lot about this phone. I'm a writer. I teach writing. I teach classes. I teach all this stuff, and having something where I can really, just jot down ideas, take quick notes is going to be very valuable to me. Of course, it's always been that way on the Note phones, but this feels like the Note that Samsung finally got right. My full review is going to cover all that stuff and probably a lot more. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon and say all notifications, please, so that you'll know when my full review of the Galaxy Note 9 comes out. Thanks so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. I'm usually there answering questions and fending off trolls for the first hour or so after the video goes live. So hit me early with your questions and I'll try to answer them. You guys have been awesome. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest, it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.